Hi everyone. Recently I had the idea that the Emax Tinyhawk II Freestyle would be a pretty good and relatively inexpensive platform for an Insta360 Go and the little mounts that I designed. So I thought to find out I would pick one up, and so that's what you're looking at here. Little Tinyhawk 2, nice little 2.5-inch model for sure. And I'm just going to fly it stock as is out of the box using the standard batteries and the props. But since I recently switched over to Crossfire, I needed a little radio for D8, so I thought there'd be a good opportunity to try out the little BetaFPV LiteRadio 2, which I think is probably about the best entry-level radio you can get. It's about 40 bucks, and very nice. Has a rechargeable battery, USB charging. Okay, so here's what I was thinking in terms of mounting locations for the 360 Go on the Tinyhawk 2. So first you got the basic front mount like this. And when you put the camera on the front, you probably move the battery back a little bit. But that should be, I think that'll work well for no props in view, or maybe some props in view, we'll see. And then the other idea I had was to put this one hanging off the back, although you could also put this one back here. And you could mount it like this. I think you get a pretty good view even over the batteries, and also you can see pretty much the whole front of the quad with the camera back there like that. It'd be kind of back heavy, but I think for occasional flights that might still be worth trying. So let me get these batteries charged up, and well, first thing tomorrow morning I'll go out and try to get some nice footage of this. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so here we go with the first flight, and I have the 360 Go on the front of the Tinyhawk II Freestyle. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, so I think this looks pretty good. You can see a little bit of the prop there in the lower left, but otherwise pretty unobstructed view. And yeah, I was pretty happy with this. I wasn't seeing any jello coming out. And this is, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is with the FPV stabilization turned on, so if I do flips and rolls, yeah, it does roll, but it's also slightly stabilized. So I think this is just a really terrific new mode that they've added to this. So just more flying around. And oh, this, by the way, this audio, if you can hear a little bit of it, is a combination of the audio from the 360 Go and also audio that I recorded on the ground. And here's a quick look at the FPV feed from the Runcam 2 now. It's okay, the colors look kind of strange to me, but it's otherwise easy to see. So not too bad of an FPV camera there that they included with this. So I think right there I did go up to 100% throttle coming out of that dive. So yeah, I definitely noticed the weight of the 360 Go on the Tinyhawk 2 because, you know, the thing without anything, just the drive weight of the quad is about 55 grams, and the 360 Go is about 20 grams, so, you know, it's almost half the weight. So I definitely felt it. Didn't make it fly badly, but, you know, definitely when I was like things like this climbing, I had to use all of the throttle, and it didn't quite go over as much as I'd expected it to, because it was the I think weight of the 360 was throwing it off a little bit. But anyway, if you want to just capture footage like this, I think it's more than powerful enough to fly around with the camera on it. But you definitely noticed the weight for sure. Oh, and also I wanted to mention using the little BetaFPV LiteRadio 2 was a nice experience. I had no issues with that. The sticks are pretty loose and the throttle was a little bit loose. I had to get used to that a little bit. So okay, so anyway, I think that's about enough of this. Let me show you now the second mounting option where I put the camera on the back of the Tinyhawk 2. So here we go, about to do a bouncy takeoff. So here's the view from the rearmost mounting position. I think it's pretty cool. You can actually even see the rear props there at the bottom of the frame. So yeah, pretty much capturing the whole quad. And again, I have, as in the previous clip, I have on FPV stabilization, so the horizon is allowed to roll. As a proof of concept, I'm pretty happy with this. And in fact, overall, I was happy with how the Tinyhawk II Freestyle performed with the 360 Go. I think it is a good, as I was thinking, it is a pretty good and inexpensive platform for the camera, and it's, you know, it's easy to set up, and I think it flies really well, even with the camera on it. So I think not a bad little combination here. So I'll let the rest of this flight play. If you want to watch the rest of it, it's more or less just keeps going like this for about, I think I flew for about 3.5 minutes with the stock batteries and the camera on there, so that's not bad at all. And since the camera can only record for 5 minutes max at a time, that's absolutely fine. Oh, anyway, thanks for watching this, and hope to see you in the next one.